Hey, it's Coach Anderson from Mississippi Public Broadcasting Online U.S. History from 1877 to present. Today we're going to pick up with Unit 10, World War II, Lesson number 3, American Propaganda in World War II. What we're going to do is provide you with an interactive activity and a video that will give you some insights as to how the United States of America garnered support, of course, among the American citizens to fight WW2. Now, when you look at fighting in any war, in order to be successful, most nations and the nation's leaders would tell you that in order to be successful, it requires a unified effort, not just the military, of course, overseas or over in foreign lands, of course, they're doing the fighting, but also the unity among the people back home who are supporting the war effort. And what we're going to do with this particular lesson is we're going to give you some insights about some of the things that happened back home in America to get the United States of America's public behind the war to make it successful, of course, in WW2. What we're going to do is look at the case for U.S. involvement in World War II. America was divided over involvement in World War II, just like in World War I. But Pearl Harbor turned people against the war who favored neutrality into people that wanted the U.S. to end the war and prevail. Pearl Harbor elicited an emotional response for American involvement. American propaganda through mass media kept the flame lit for American involvement. So what we want you to do, of course, is to understand something. As long as American lives, of course, were spared, of course, in the early days of this particular conflict, most American, well, I wouldn't say most American, but a lot of Americans didn't see the value of Americans going overseas and fighting, of course, for the freedom, of course, of other people. Just as in World War I, though, when the violence starts to be visited upon American citizens, we're going to find that our attitude about the war, of course, is going to change. And Pearl Harbor is what this is, that response, of course, for us in World War II. What we want you to do is to navigate to the end of the lesson, to click on the link provided to complete the interactive activity. When completed, convert your work into a file, PDF file, and turn it into your teacher, of course, to be graded. So what we want you to do is take a few minutes, go ahead and start at this time, and we'll be back and see you in about 20 minutes. Hey, we hope you enjoyed that activity, of course, and video, of course, on American propaganda. It's kind of crazy, though, when you think about what happens with the mass media at this particular time. You're going to notice that, throughout that whole video, they try to downplay, of course, the violence, of course, that's surrounded in terms of WW2. Like in words like, say, for instance, war bonds. I think one of the things that we tell you is that instead of saying war bonds, they don't say war bonds, they say liberty bonds, because they want people, of course, to understand that it is war, true enough, but what we want you to do is to think about what it is, that you're fighting for. Radio, movies, billboards, actors, actresses, etc., all had a role to play in the war effort. One of the largest roles was to convince everyone of the righteousness of the cause being fought and to convince the public to buy those liberty bonds to finance the war. The language to describe things was even used to promote a positive spin. And that was very important because, once again, Americans didn't want to pay for violence. What they wanted to pay for was liberty. And by framing it in that way, Americans, of course, were able to get behind the war effort. We hope you enjoyed that interactive activity from PBS Learning Media, and we hope that you were able to gain some greater insights as to how the United States of America, was galvanized, of course, by the mass media to support WW2. Once again, though, this is Coach Anderson from Mississippi Public Broadcasting Online U.S. History from 1877 to present. And once again, as I always tell you, don't take my word for it. Go ahead and do your own research, your own reading, and reach your own conclusions. And with that, we'll see you next time.